I don't know about you, but I'm the type of guy who's thinking about my Christmas prime rib while I'm still eating leftover Thanksgiving turkey sandwiches. It gives me something to do as I try not to break my neck getting Christmas decorations out of the attic. This recipe is absolutely foolproof and the results are perfect every time. The last thing you want to do is mess up an expensive piece of meat like a prime rib. I've got you covered, just keep watching. By using a few tried and true techniques, we're going to achieve perfect edge-to-edge doneness, tender and flavorful meat, and a delicious crusty exterior. Since I'm using my Weber Kettle Grill, we'll also have a light but noticeable smoke flavor. This recipe would work with any smoker or even an oven. So here I've got a 5.5 pound boneless prime rib roast. I'm using a bit of salt sorcery known as the dry brine. The salt will draw moisture out of the meat and then get sucked back in as it sits overnight in the fridge. That salt will not only flavor the inside but also tenderize it. In addition to the salt, I've also got fresh chopped rosemary, cracked black pepper, and garlic powder. The full recipe can be found on thekettleguy.com, and I'll leave a link in the description. Regarding the boneless versus bone-in debate, I like them both, but I do prefer the boneless roast. The bones can help protect the meat from overcooking, but as you'll see, we won't be in any danger of that. I'd much rather have the surface area to apply more seasoning and for more penetration of the dry brine. When it's all seasoned up, it'll sit in the fridge uncovered for 24 to 48 hours. If you don't have that much time, as little as 6 hours will still help. Alright, let's get one final look before we get this baby in the fridge. Okay, it's the next day, and before I get this prime rib on the smoker, I'm going to spray generously with beef tallow. It's got great flavor, it'll help keep things moist, and it will help form a nice crust. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can find it on Amazon. The seasoning you see there is just the garlic, pepper, and rosemary, since the salt is all inside the meat. If you're enjoying this video, it would help me out a lot if you gave it a thumbs up. And remember, you can always check out kettleguy.com for all my recipes. I'm going to shoot for a cooking temperature anywhere from 225 degrees to 250 degrees. On my kettle, that means I'm going to use the charcoal snake method with a 2x1 charcoal snake. That's 2 rows of coals on the bottom and 1 on top. I've lit 15 coals in a charcoal chimney to place at the head of the snake. You'll want to use whatever method works for your smoker to maintain a low temperature. This is the first phase of the cook. When the internal temperature reaches 125 degrees, I'm going to raise the cooking temp to 500 degrees or more for 15 minutes. This is called the reverse sear. I wrote an article about it, and I'll leave a link in the description. I'm going to add just 1 small chunk of hickory and applewood for this cook. When making prime rib, a little smoke flavor is good, but too much can easily ruin it. Remember, we're not making brisket here. As always, I'm going to insert a temperature probe into the thickest part of the meat and attach another to the cooking grate. This probe should always go away from the heat, but also not touching the meat or the lid of the grill. As the temperature approaches 200 degrees, I'm going to close the top vent 3/4 of the way. Depending on the size of your grill, you may need to adjust the bottom vent a bit also. You shouldn't have too much trouble hitting that low and slow temperature range. Okay, let's check out our baby at the 2-hour mark. The average cooking time at this temp is about 35 minutes per pound for medium rare. I'd say things are progressing perfectly. Here it's been just over 3 hours and our internal temp is at 125 degrees, so it's time to get ready for that high heat searing phase. One important tip is that when you're cooking a large piece of meat like this at a low temperature, there's little to no carryover cooking. It's not the same as reverse searing a steak. I used the larger 26-inch Weber kettle, and with the coals you see there, plus a full lit chimney, you could easily get over 500 degrees. The hot grill will be like a giant air fryer, which will form a nice delicious crust on the outside of our prime rib. While these coals get hot, the prime rib is resting, so you won't need an extended rest after cooking. Here I'm going to move some of those lit coals on top of the unlit ones. In 25 minutes, this thing will be blazing hot. Before I put the meat back on, I'm going to spray one more time with that beef tallow. Okay, on she goes for 15 minutes. I usually take a peek at the 10-minute mark just to make sure things aren't going crazy. Okay, it's been 15 minutes and we are done ski. I can't wait to get this thing sliced up. That's looking pretty good to me. The reverse sear really helps get that edge-to-edge doneness. Pro tip, don't be a bonehead like me and forget to cut the butcher's twine when you're slicing. If you're also making turkey this holiday season, my smoked turkey recipe is about to pop up on the left side of your screen, and you should definitely check it out. I'll see you next time.